Alright guys, so this is an update for Friday afternoon, well Friday lunchtime. Um, you may be able to hear the disruption outside, you may not. I think they're about to pour a load of concrete as the sewage work continues. It's been noisy for about 3 weeks now because I've got an excavator, a bobcat running around, a whacker plate compacting the ground. Now got a cement mixer just turned up. It's about to do a pour. Let's go outside with the coffee. Look at this for a little convenient space. This is a canopy April got. It doesn't, I think it's from Amazon. I'll have to double check. Bear with me, I'm gonna have a quick coffee. I'll let you watch the concrete pour. In fact, I wonder if my phone can flip it round and keep it live. Let's see. Look at that. So we got the concrete going in. The guys have worked all the way from the bottom, and I'm not sure how far they're going, whether they're going to go out the top of La Mata or suddenly just stop. I don't know where the drainage is actually not working, so it's obviously something not right. But the advantage they've got there, you see they've already whackered it down, so they're going to pour the concrete all the way up to where the whacker plate is, up at the top or over there. So at least they're past the park today, which means they're past my doorway. There it goes. Come on, there you go. It's going to release it and start driving up, I think. What'll be interesting is, are they going to topple the street all the way up with tarmac after putting a concrete channel in there? Come on mate, this isn't great for the YouTube stuff. Alright, we'll come back to him in a second. Let's zoom out a little bit. So the boardwalk is pretty slow going, but it might be a bit better further up, in the sense of they've started putting the footings in nearer the top. I think the other end of La Mata up towards behind the buildings up there past the plaza, so I'm going to have a look up there probably later today. There they go. Somebody's in for a busy afternoon, they'll get a sweat on. Hear that noise? That's been outside my window for days, this guy over here. Yeah, I think they're going to cut off of that junction today, because I don't see them going, causing... Yeah, because they'll just fence that off where the guys are at the bottom and the guys at the top, just so it takes that section out, so at least people can get round the town. Or maybe not, since I can see since I can see they've got fencing right up at the junction. But we'll see, because it's the weekend coming, so they may actually do something a bit constructive. We'll see. And then obviously the sports complex is behind that building there, if you want to know where it is. Let's have a look and stuff. Oh yeah, this canopy. So this canopy, basically it's got two sort of legs that you sort of jack up, and I've stuck it under the gutter, so it's pretty solid, and it sort of keeps all the sun off the computers when I'm working, because in the morning the sun sort of comes across from this side and works its way around, and like now it's behind here, which means I can roll this in and get the sea view back. To be fair, where I'm sat here, I've got a pretty good view anyway. But yeah, I've been seeing in the La Mata groups, there's been a few people complaining about the why didn't they use other materials. for the boardwalk. So first thing I want to say is it's 70% recycled timber and 30% I think polyuprene. Somebody can correct me on that. Timber's a much more sustainable product. Timber's something you can recycle again. Timber is something that has multiple functions. Timber's something that can be grown sustainably. Now, I get there's problems with it, because what you have is like Ukraine is a major provider of timber for people like IKEA, and if you Google and stuff, you'll see there's been problems about how that timber ends up in other parts of Europe from Ukraine around corruption, using, taken from other forests illegally, etc. But I cannot say that that's IKEA or anybody else's fault on this side. That's down to corruption in the Ukraine government. Because you can only take things so far. Unless you actually have all the farms and everything else yourself and nobody else is allowed near it, there's very little you can do to control that stuff. But I do agree that maybe there is more opportunities inside Western Europe to look at land and see, can we grow some of this stuff ourselves to reduce some of the transportation costs and the environmental impact of transportation. But I agree, my view is I'm happy the boardwalk's timber, because it's a good product. The other side of this being is, why wouldn't I use concrete? Well, concrete is a disaster of dealing with for recycling. It's a disaster of disposal. It became apparent to me how bad it was when I was out in Amman. And I was out in the desert because we were showing a waste site. And the waste site is bigger than La Mata. And it was just chunks of concrete with steel sticking out of it. Because because it's in the desert, the sands move, the buildings. There's a lot of problems with the buildings themselves, so they knock it down and build another one, and that's obviously been going on for some time to build up massive mounds of concrete and steel out in the middle of nowhere. It's a pain to recycle. So you've got that issue, and then you've got the infusion and other things, the chemical reactions and stuff that go in, the dust, the pollution, etc. Wood's a much better product. Yes, it will not last 100 years or whatever, but at the same time, I also look out and I see, like the bridge under to the nature park, the graffiti on there. Timber's a bit harder to graffiti. Didn't say impossible, but it's a bit harder. But I also understand it's about generational as well, and I think for me, I'm not a fan of what do they call it? It's modernism. Modernism is around this simplicity thing, but it for me, it's got, well, me and others, it does have an undertone in there. Because the whole thing of the modernism is sort of tied in with the person who constructs, like say, a beautiful cathedral, the stonemasons, the carpenters, they do not see or get rewarded by the bigger piece, because they're just a small piece of the puzzle. They're not rewarded. What do you call it? Rewarded probably in proportion to the size of what they create. I think that's misguided in my personal view. The reason being is, I'm not being funny, if my great grandfather had worked on a cathedral and there's a piece on there where there's an arc or something in that cathedral, I'm sure that would get passed down the line of the creativity of someone in the family. Because within my family, we already have histories relating to Dunkirk and other things through the years, which is carried through. Because they're achievements for our family, so it's also important to keep those things alive. But the fact is, saving people off the beach at Dunkirk is something that's recognised. So part of the things is I don't agree with that, and the other thing is beautification. Beautification for me is important, and it's something I use a lot. It's a word I use a lot in the type of work I do, because I like spaces to not only be functional but welcoming. And beautification is part of welcoming. It doesn't need to be all intricate art, although it's nice when you see it. It does have to have a interest in coming there, and I don't think modernism covers that properly in many cases. A lot of the problems you see in UK around developments from like Milton Keynes. Milton Keynes is the prime example. Look at the architects on that and you'll understand why it's the way it is. It's more about in line with communism and socialism, but the problem you end up with is everything looks bland. And if things look bland and uninteresting, my personal view is it's likely to cause more crime, more vandalism, more graffiti. It's a negative thing. And the reason I'm bringing this up as well today is there's been quite a lot of negativity around not seeing La Mata developing. They don't like, some people don't like the changes. It was beautiful 30, 40 years ago, and you're going, yes, but what you've got to remember is a lot of these buildings are that age, and a lot of the original people are not here anymore. You've got to keep evolving, otherwise I'm not going to mention other places because I'll get people from there complain, but some other places they've got a decline. You get a decline in population, you get a decline in the shops, you get a decline in the area, you get a decline, and it just gets worse and worse. You get more vandalism, damage, break-ins, all that goes with having lower population. The matter has to progress, and I'm not disappointed with any of the progressions. At the same time, somebody was on about, well, those poor people with the apartments here at the back where the sports complex has basically come up the front of them. I want to give my insight on that and my perspective. I sit opposite a building that is basically a concrete slab. It's been dug out. There's been a video on there with teenagers set it on fire previously. Teenagers have hung out there before. The police have moved them out. I am under no illusion there's a risk of a building going up there and blocking the majority of my sea view. No illusion at all. If somebody builds there, yeah, I'd be disappointed, but have I got a right to moan about it? Not really. I wouldn't expect them to build a high rise there because it's so close to the beach and they probably have foundation issues. But at the same time, if they did, okay, I lose my sea view, but I've had a couple of years so far of being able to have a sea view, so I'm not going to grumble. But like there, I get not being happy having a grey slab outside my window, but I also accept that lot was sat there, that lot was going to be sold, that lot was at risk of becoming whatever anybody deems. In the Philippines, I remember we were looking at houses near the coast, and the thing is, they start from the inner land and work towards the beach because they sell. Look at the sea view, but what they're not telling you is, as soon as they've sold that house, they're starting the construction in the buildings in front of you. It's the nature of the beast. Do not accept that everything stays the way you want it. Do not accept that we don't need progress. And do not accept that everything is going to go our own way. Life dictates the opposite too often. Cost of living is a good example. The cost of everything going up, and at the same time, we're expected to just keep taking it. But I'm not keeping it. It's not about being negative. It's just accepting we're going to have the changes. I'm happy with the changes. The changes mean that La Mata's going to be here longer. If you remember, if you go all the way back to my original videos, when I used to come back down to La Mata in the winter, there's virtually nothing going on. I remember walking, you very little was open, there was some empty shops, etc, etc. There's very little that isn't open now. It's almost like it's been repopulated over the span of the time we've been here. And in theory it has, because the Ukraine war has led to a lot of Ukrainians coming here. This channel has actually encouraged people to move to the area as well. As I keep bumping into people that go, "Oh, we watched your channel and we've moved here," which is, it's nice to hear that, but often caught off guard, because I do these videos just to be informative. There's no ego thing for me on this stuff. But for me, it is good to see Lamata improving. It's even like when they're redoing all the render on the flats and everything else. It means that everything's maintained, it's kept nice, it's kept tidy. And I do agree, something needs to be done with the graffiti. But I might even post a picture. I mean, outside our place, somebody graffitied on the water door. So I went in, bought a spray can and sprayed it all out in white, and I scraped off all the locksmith stickers as well and tidied it up. One of the things I do recommend is, if you do have a place here, please do the same. Let's try and encourage that we don't accept this on fly advertising and crap here, because it starts with us. Everything starts with us. If we're accepting of it and just go, it's the government's problem or it's someone else's problem, that's how things decline. We want things better, not worse. And like I says, I mean, there's been lots of investment in the basketball court, because somebody did complain about that as well, about half the park went for redevelopments years ago, before me. But at the same time, those high-rise flats also mean that I would say the people that are owners of those are probably higher income than some of the other people around, same as the redevelopment of the houses down this end, where some of the houses are €1,000,000, etc. There's a high likeliness that they're bringing money into the economy, where some of the older places may be declining or limited budget. Having a blend of rich, poor and everything in between means that the place becomes sustainable. It means that there's something to fit all, like Menú del Día, the menu of the day, which is very popular in Spain, where it's not high expenditure meals, it's the menu of the day, which is a very popular thing in Spain, because it's for, I think predominantly for the workers. I think France is exactly the same. They have the main meal at lunchtime, etc. Those things are part of Spain, and I agree with them. I like them. I like the fact, because when I'm in the UK, I would like to get a menu of the day when I'm in London, rather than paying like £7 for a crappy sandwich that's been dried out. So there's a lot of positive things. We need to accept that it's also important to invest in your community. Oh yeah, Matt's on the sales pitch now. We've got fishmongers. We've got butchers, we've got a little sports shop as well. There's a internet, got to go there as well, because there's a new internet, phone, computer shop down there, and I bought a charger for my Mac and it knackered within a day, so that's not a positive sale pitch, but I need to go in there and just tell him it's crap. But it could be the fact that my Mac Pro may have been a bit juicy for it, because the top of the range one, so its power usage is probably a lot higher, because I didn't take the laptop, so it could be my fault. But the fact is, buy bits and pieces in the community. It helps, because a lot of these guys, if you know the people, some of them aren't making a lot of money off the shops. It's because they're invested in the community. They've got their pensions that sort of subsidise it. Elvira at the greengrocers, a lot of her, I think nearly all of her projects come from her and her husband's farm. The butcher's really good, friendly guy. Highly recommend the butcher there. Just thinking, what else we got? Oh, you got Jose up the top with the it's called, is it Fontana? It's the waterfall. I forgot the Spanish word for waterfall, but it Jose's a really nice guy. Go in there for your morning coffees. You'll meet people. You sit outside as well because there's always people coming and going there. Lovely guy. Then on the front you've got, so I'm trying to remember people's names now. I'm terrible at the best of the time. Food Line's really good for food. My wife's very close friends with the owner. They're buddies. Well, are they buddy? Well, I might be overstepping the mark. They all seem to hug and stuff when they're in the restaurant, when they see each other. That's a good restaurant. Then you've got Cookie, which is a little bar next to there. With Cookie's place, I'm not even sure what the bar name is. I just know Cookie, who's the owner there. Sorry, is she the owner or she works there? I'm not sure, because it's the husband of her sister that works in there as the chef and stuff. They're quite friendly, but you may find them. Some people complain they're a bit offish and a bit pro-Spaniard. I don't have any issues, and I'm normally in there with Igor if we're going out for their, because their cider's really good there, because they get the cider from somewhere specific. We sat there till past midnight one evening, sitting watching the sea, chilled out, enjoying it. In fact, I think they were complaining we were drinking all the cider, if I remember right. But because I was, yeah. Long story short, I was going somewhere else, and Igor's wife and Natalia and the kids were in Ukraine. So Igor is needing some dinner because he's hungry. He hasn't seen me for ages, and we bump into each other in the street. This is probably about 7 o'clock at night, and then we just end up going down there to about midnight. Just message April, said I'm out with Igor, because I knew he was on his own, so went down and had a drink with him and stuff. But that's quite a nice little place. There's a couple of Indian restaurants there. Venus runs the. I mixed the two names up. There's two restaurants there. They're pretty good. The staff in there are very friendly. And there's, yeah, and those are our main places, to be fair. There's Zana Kebab as well here, and then you've got Honey's as well, the kebab shops, which we have those rarely, to be fair, because they're a bit calorie bomb. But yeah, they're okay places. And what's our favourite place for sort of Spanish food? It'd be Las Flores. Yeah, Las Flores has gone back around here because it did open another one down here, and that's now different name. I forgot the name of it. Their food's pretty good as well, so we go there sometimes. And that's just in this bit of section of La Mata. If you head up, there's more places, and we've got friends in. You know, April knows everybody. You know, because obviously the school run, you meet a lot of the mothers and people. So we end up knowing a lot of people through the kids and whatever. But then, because we're locals here, you know, April's here all the time. She's part of the Ladies of Spain. She meets a lot more people than I do. So you end up knowing people, a lot more people. So we know the people that are work in the supermarket, and Zoe knows a ridiculous amount of people just all over this whole region because of her art and school stuff and things. So yeah, if you want British stuff, because that was a big debate in the Facebook group, Bar Britannia is a bit further up, and I do recommend, if you want, they do a nice English breakfast up there, but English breakfast has places all over. Typical Brit coming into Spain, eating English. Don't eat English breakfast every day. What I normally have is if I've had a crap week or something, or I've been up late doing something, working or whatever, and I wake up early. If I get up early, I find I get hungry early, and then I want meat. You know, I don't want a croissant. I don't want toasted bread with tomato. I want black pudding. I want sausage. I want bigger stuff. So that's generally what happens there. So I mean, like this week, we haven't had an English breakfast this week. I know I've said it. Might have to go out for lunch. Got to take April and the kids out for lunch though. But there's plenty of places out there. I do recommend joining the Lamata group. It's a youthful group, and because you've got a mix of people from everywhere, just bear that in mind, because some of the people can be a bit anti-British sometimes, in the same way, like the progress piece. They go, oh, it's horrible now. It used to be fantastic. And you're going, okay, at first I wasn't there, but you've got to think different generations as well, and the sustainability in the longer approach to Lamata, because there's a lot of people here. Like I said, the average age in the area, I think, still 68. So you've got a lot of older generation people. It's sustainable by encouraging working in the area, living in the area, facilities in the area. You need to bring in new blood. New blood is attracted by new things. Making the houses beautiful keeps people coming. Because like some of these blocks look dated, but like just tidying the render up makes a massive difference. You look at our house and putting this glazed piece on the top, it looks nice. Really hard to keep the glass balcony clean, because we get this lovely sand come in from the Sahara every now and again. Love sticking to the car like concrete as well. But the fact is, you've got to keep everything evolving. So do expect you'll get some people giving you some of that, but at the same time, just shrug it off, because they have a different perspective. It's a bit like when I go to the Philippines, there's a lot of older Americans there that remember the heyday of when they were going there for R&R, when they were coming out of Vietnam, Korean War, or wherever they've been, even the Iraq War, etc. They went there to recover. So when they've gone back to America and stuff, because this is a bit more extreme, to be fair, and they've had marital breakdowns, divorces, etc., they go back to the good times. And please remember, they change. When I went back to the UK after being away for 8 years, it wasn't the same place I left. And if you're in it, you can't see it often. And this is the thing with some of the people here, is they may want it to be the little fishing village it once was, but those days are gone. The advantage Lamata has got, though, is its progression is limited because it's landlocked. You got the sea that side, you got the nature park, you got the N332 motorway running across there, you got sand dunes to the north, sand dunes to the south. It's a strip of land that is landlocked. That's not going to change except for soil erosion. It's the beach possibly moves further up and front line is destroyed over the next 100 years possibly. That's all doom and gloom. That may not even happen, because we like doom and gloom as a media system, but my point being is there ain't going to be much change here, and I don't see them knocking everything down to make lots of high-rise flats or stuff. I can see them knocking some of the older properties down, like they have down further up. So you've got a property lot that's probably got a property on it for like 300,000, large square meter bungalow, then sticking a 4-bedroom brand new house on there, taking a property that was worth 350,000 to a brand new €1 million house. I can see that happening. But then again, Spain's got a lot of land all the way up its coast. So who knows? I'm quite happy the way things stay. If it stays like this, got new drainage, new sports facility. Not even sure what they're doing in the sports facility yet, by the way. Got the sea, got the nature park, got lots of little shops and stuff that I like. And I know, yeah, you may notice I didn't mention the Chinese, and it's not to be rude. It's just that they're not selling anything that none of the Chinese are selling, because they seem to get everything from the wholesalers up at Elche. Yeah, they're useful for scrapers and whatever, but I'm not a fan of those types of products, I've got to admit. You know, it's when people talk about being environmental, I start thinking about pound shops and things like that, and think about how much crap we buy. And I'm as guilty as the next person, but the fact is, a lot of this stuff isn't the best quality. But anyway, that's me for today. I'm not going to grumble, I'm not going to moan. I think I'm now going to end up going for lunch now. I mentioned the black pudding incident. But have a great weekend. Enjoy yourselves. Sun's out where I am. But yeah, just enjoy the weekend, and don't let today's worries bother your weekend. Just, if it's work related or whatever, tomorrow's another day, but also set yourself up for the weekend to relax and do something. Don't let things destroy it. Thanks for watching.